is your live magazine program, Newsline. I am Jennifer Igwe. Welcome. Now, the Wright brothers who invented the first successful airplane and others who worked on similar projects that paved way for the aircrafts that we enjoy today all started with prototypes. Why am I going down history? We have local inventors in Nigeria that are resiliently making similar efforts in their own way. And what they are doing could add value enormously to our system and the world. We have a story on a young man from a remote community in southwest Nigeria who has fabricated an aircraft. Stay tuned to find out more about him. Then, also on our offering is a feature on a historic and mysterious well that is continuously having supply of water, and this has continued for over 200 years. Stay tuned to find out the mystery about this. Then, what could make an elderly man decide to rape a minor and daughter of his neighbor? Lost for words like me, right? Our correspondent will shed more light on it. And remember, the NTA stands against rape and rapists. And away from the unpalatable story of rape, we have a feature on a sweet fruit that is small but loaded with nutrients that are healthy. So we have an interesting lineup, but I'll allow you to digest the teaser that we have. And my colleague, Claire Adelabu, Elizabeth Omoruyi, will take the news from Abuja. Lizzie, hello.
Hello, Jennifer, and thanks for joining us on the news segment of the program. President Muhammad Buhari this Sunday rang his Turkish counterpart, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, to convey the sympathies of the government and people of Nigeria over the wildfires that ravaged some territories in the country. In the telephone call, the president expressed the solidarity of the government and people of Nigeria with the government and people of Turkey at this critical time and offered the readiness of Nigeria to extend its modest support in any manner that may be required by Turkey. President Buhari extolled the heroic response by Turkish emergency teams and exemplary leadership of President Erdogan in handling the disaster, and assured his Turkish counterpart of Nigeria's commitment to sustain progress in our bilateral relations with Turkey. To religious matters now, authorities in Saudi Arabia have opened doors for additional 2 million pilgrims per month to perform lesser Hajj. A statement by the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah said it has been receiving requests from Muslims around the world for permission to come to the Holy Land for religious activities since reopening its sites in October last year for domestic worshippers after the total lockdown. The ministry also announced that only vaccinated persons will be permitted beginning from August 9. As such, authorized COVID-19 vaccination certificates, along with their Umrah request, will be presented. Meanwhile, prospective pilgrims from countries on the Saudi Arabia entry ban list will have to be quarantined upon arrival. To other matters, farmlands, property and critical national infrastructure were on Saturday destroyed by flood in villages along the Kwali-Abaji-Lokoja highway after a heavy downpour. Ilasu Onotu Yakubu reports that no life was lost to the incident.
Victims say the flood water ran through the various communities for more than 4 hours, uprooting boulders and plants on its path. In the aftermath, farmers helplessly watch in awe the level of destruction of their produce following the over 4-hour ravaging threats of the flood.
I have farm here.
Ado Bega is one of the numerous farm victims who narrated that every produce of the Fadama investors on the path of the flood, which stretched through about 15 kilometers, were washed away with nothing left.
People have already planted, finished. Nobody in this area, almost about 15 kilometers, if I not made a mistake, they are planted. And the water has already washed everything. Nothing remained there. both banana and everything, all is.
The disaster has affected us. We would be glad if government can help us.
Scores of households have been rendered homeless with buildings leveled to the ground. Members of the households struggle to salvage what is left of their personal effects from the rubbles of their buildings.
About 15 hectares of farmland were destroyed. More than 30 houses were destroyed as well. People, you can see them, they are homeless now. We are calling on the government to come and assist the farmers and these people who lose their houses and properties.
I am hopeful that Allah will assist me to rebuild again.
Critical infrastructure, such as this newly constructed bridge and high-tension poles, are amongst national assets giving way as the flood digs through the earth in its rampage. Iliasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
More than 70% completion has been achieved on the entire second Niger Bridge project of the federal government. Uchenna Nwekoyo visited the site for an update.
It is fast becoming a reality that another corridor across the river Niger will soon be opened for commuters. The 11.9 kilometers of the entire project, comprising of the main bridge, 3 secondary bridges and access roads, have reached advanced stages.
We have covered the deck of the bridge, about 2 kilometers out of the 3.2 kilometers of the deck of the bridge. The 3 kilometers at the other side in Delta State has substantially be completed. We are already on the binder course on that section, and you can see here now we are already, this is the macadam layer of the pavement. Some section where we have passed in front, we have already laid the binder course. So this section too is at higher percentage of completion.
Work is progressing. The bridge is on a completion of roughly 80%. We are also on a very advanced level with the earthworks and with the drainage works, and are now within the pavement works. The contractual delivery is in February, March next year.
Federal government of Nigeria has been able to provide adequate funding for the project, and this is why you see that there's a lot of activity on site.
The project has also created more than 2,000 direct jobs and about 4,000 indirect jobs for the host communities. The second Niger bridge, when completed, is expected to decongest traffic on the existing bridge in Onitsha. Uchenna Nwekoyo, NTA News.
We do apologize for the loss of audio in some parts of that report. The Katsina Area Command of the Niger Customs Service has strengthened its operations along illegal routes into the country, leading to the interception of smuggled vehicles and other contrabands with duty value of over 60 million naira. Acting controller of the command, Dalha Wadat Shedi, who disclosed this, while displaying the seized items, said the success was recorded within few weeks of renewed strategies. Shewadam reports.
Despite federal government efforts toward rejuvenating the nation's economy through the introduction of ease of doing business and trade facilitation policies, criminal elements within the society still engage in economic sabotage. To suppress the trend, therefore, the Katsina Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service intercepted 13 vehicles either smuggled into the country or served as means of conveying contraband.
We are not relenting. As they change strategies, as they pursue, they go ahead with their own tactics. We always come up with strategies, which we always try to counter them, and we are succeeding.
Controller Al-Hawada Chedi explained that the smuggled items were intercepted along the illegal border routes and reiterates the determination of the command in fighting smuggling activities to protect the country's economy. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has seized a total of 8,268.2 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs, including cocaine, heroin, tramadol, and skunk, among others, in a week-long coordinated raids across 7 states, which began from 1st of August 2021. A statement by the Director Media and Advocacy of the agency, Femi Babayemi, says the raids in Ondo, Akwa Ibom, Adamawa, Enugu, Bauchi, Edo, and Anambra states led to the arrest of 15 drug dealers, including a woman on a wheelchair. The raid also led to the arrest of a 26-year-old with 1.2031 kilograms crack cocaine, making it the biggest cocaine seizure in the history of Akwa Ibom. Meanwhile, different quantities of tramadol and skunk going to the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and UAE were also intercepted. Minister of Defense Bashir Magashi says the threat in Niger's maritime domain is surmountable with collective efforts from stakeholders that will translate to economic prosperity for all. Kingsley Amaji reports that Vice Admiral Awal Gambo is optimistic that a 2021 to 2030 interagency collaboration in the sector is yielding positive results.
The minister, represented by a permanent secretary in the ministry, Stephanus Musa, spoke at the unveiling of gunboats, houseboats, high-tech interceptor cameras, and surveillance drones donated to the Nigerian Navy by a private firm in Port Harcourt. The minister also tasked the Nigerian Navy to effectively deploy these military hardware to create better economic atmosphere for all stakeholders in the industry.
I'm therefore pleased to note that the platforms being donated today will further boost the Navy's maritime security efforts.
This time we talk about giving credible support to the armed forces and security agencies. This is precisely what we're talking about.
Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Gambo, was delighted with the bold initiative spearheaded by a private organization to complement efforts of Nigerian security forces at containing activities of oil thieves and pirates.
The desire to safeguard the vast expanse of the nation's maritime domain from all forms of threats for socio-economic activities to thrive prompted the Nigerian Navy to collaborate with critical maritime stakeholders.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Tami Tanagogo, called for enhanced security of national assets and protection of interests of operators in the industry. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Air Force says one of its Alpha jets on reconnaissance mission under Operation Arindaji has foiled an attempt by suspected bandits to kidnap 16 persons. A statement by NAV Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gapquet, says the incident occurred between Magami and Tofa in Zamfara State, where the NAV Alpha jet sighted suspected bandits on 5 motorcycles who had blocked Magaji-Gusau Road in an attempt to kidnap commuters. On sighting the Alpha jet, the bandits are said to have abandoned their motorcycles and fled into the bush, while the commuters ran back to their vehicles with their aircraft, providing close cover to ensure safety of both passengers and other citizens. Anyone with useful information about the bandits is encouraged to reach out to relevant authorities. The Nigerian police force has arrested 6 girls and a boy between ages of 17 and 20 in Benin City, scheduled to be trafficked to Libya, Tunisia and Abuja, lured with promises of lucrative jobs on arrival. Ivy Oyahiri reports.
Young ones went for a birthday bash in Benin when someone solicited if they would be willing to go abroad to work. They all accepted the offer. This decision, majority of them made without their parents' consent. Immediately, arrangement was made and they were conveyed to a house where they were kept for days, and occasionally someone provided them with provisions. The same person allegedly perfected arrangements for transfer to the countries they would visit. The secondary school girls drawn from Edo and Delta were given hijabs as a way to disguise.
It's in Abidjan. They want to killing now. Nurse and Asge. Now, cause okay, now Asge me what do because no problem. Cause I they come break. Cause I sister. Cause show me sister. Cause okay, no problem. Me want trouble. So cause I go all these girls for or they stay.
There was a breach in communication between those in the camp and their facilitators, and according to them, they decided to opt out from the planned trip, and they were then intercepted by the police. For the only boy in the midst of these girls, he was told that his final destination is Libya by his sister's friend, who is still on the run. The state's police boss has stated that these young ones will be handed over to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, immediately, as it is a clear case of human trafficking.
Conveying 6 girls, and they are mostly minors, being trafficked by one Geoffrey.
The Nigerian police have assured the public that more investigation will be carried out to bring all the culprits to book. In Benin, Ivie Oyakiri, NTA News.
The Buhari Media Organization BMO has commended men, officers and commanders of the Nigerian Armed Forces for their intensified and sustained aerial bombardments of terrorist camps and hideouts. In a statement, BMO says the feats achieved are reasons more insurgents are laying down their arms and surrendering to their troops. It recalls that last week, 28 Boko Haram terrorists surrendered to troops of 73 and 202 battalions of the Nigerian Army in Bama local government area of Borno State, while 22 leaders of some bandits terrorizing residents and villagers in Zamfara, Katsina, Niger, Kaduna and other states in the northwest and north central are said to have reached out to the military seeking amnesty as the forest is no longer safe for them. BMO urged the military to maintain this momentum and also expressed optimism that continuous achievements on this will bring insurgency to an end sooner than expected. And away from security, intending couples with the desire to have an understanding of the core values of marriage can now do so with the inauguration of a marriage academy and certified premarital classes. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that the foundation run by Miriam Lemu is poised to help partners surmount insecurity in marriages and approach the institution with love for a rewarding experience.
This is the formal unveiling of 72-module online video lecture with each episode ranging from 2 to 13 minutes of practical experiences and research development of the founder in her 30 years of marital life.
There are a lot of people of the mistaken belief that your marriage will complete you or your spouse will complete you. On the contrary, you have to be complete. Otherwise, you're going to go in broken, and those cracks are only going to get wider. They're going to be exposed more.
Ideas behind the lecture series is for marriage counselors and targeted people to have knowledge and skills necessary for a successful marriage.
It is obvious to all of us the call on the traditional rulers to play a critical role in reducing the menace of divorce and violence against women.
Ensuring that we have a stable home, a happy married life, a wonderful and a viral society, and indeed it's a pathway to having a great nation.
I'm appealing to all well-meaning Nigerians, particularly the young women and the young men that are yet to get into marriage, to join into this counseling.
This event, this very launching of the website is one of the ways where we can use to educate our younger ones and those that are active couples.
The certified premarital masterclass is seen as a much-needed resource for aspiring couples. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
And it's time to talk sports, and we have a sportswoman here, Tamara Ibiwi, with some sporting stories. Tamara.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Welcome to Sports Update. We begin with football, talking about the ITO Cup finals. Bayelsa State are double champions of the 2021 Federation Cup, also known as the ITO Cup. Bayelsa United defeated Nasarawa United 5-3 on penalties after regulation time ended 2-2 at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Bayelsa United will now represent Nigeria at the CAF Confederation Cup. In the women's final, Bayelsa Queens defeated Lagos-based FC Robo Queens 4-2 to emerge champions for the first time in the club's history. Bayelsa Queens edged out perennial and defending champions Rivers Angels 5-0 in the semi-finals to progress to the final. Moving on now, skilled footballers in Nigeria between ages 16 and 21 stand a chance of getting scholarships to the United Kingdom. The Gulf United Club of Dubai has commenced a selection process led by head scout and consultant of the Gulf United Nigeria, Jordi Shells. Selected students will study in universities, partnering with football clubs.
What we're looking for is not necessarily the next Ian Acho or JJ Kocher, John Obi Mikel. We're looking for people who are very interested to study and they have a high level. So they have a high level of football.
One of the basic things we do is to assist the federal government promoting their policies program in the same view to also encourage young people to key into the federal government policies.
Away from football, the Association of Nigerian Women in Sports, NAWIS, has congratulated Blessing Oburududu and Ese Brume for their outstanding performance at the Tokyo Olympics. National President Professor Florence Adeyanju wishes them and all that participated, irrespective of their results, wishing them good luck in upcoming events. Ese Brume won bronze in the long jump event, while Blessing Oburududu won silver, Nigeria's first ever medal in wrestling. And finally, to handball, where 8 male and 4 female teams are jostling for honors at the 2021 North Central Handball League at the Indoor Sports Hall, Package B of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. In one of the opening matches played Sunday, Nasarawa Ambassadors outscored Benue Buffaloes 32-30 goals.
And now the Ambassadors, let's see, can we get a fast break? A quick release there from Ngonga, who sets in. Brilliant goal there for Benue Buffaloes. Shaul Joshua getting a brilliant goal, sporting jersey number 10 for the Buffaloes.
We're trying to bring the North Central together so that when they play like this, we bring out the stars from them. As they go for the national championship, you see, last year we won the male and female Prudent Energy because we had this championship. Road safety.
And that's Sports Update. Elizabeth, back to you.
Thank you so much. President Muhammad Buhari sends heartfelt condolences to the Christendom, especially members of the Foursquare Gospel Church, over the passing of their former General Overseer, Reverend Wilson Badijo, at 74. The President describes the departed as a dedicated servant of God who was committed to standing in the gap for not just his organization, but Nigeria as a whole. He prays that God will comfort the entire Badijo family, urging them to take solace in the fact that their father set a standard to be emulated by all and sundry. Also, President Muhammad Buhari commiserates with the family, friends and associates of Captain Idausa Okumbo, Chairman Ocean Marine Solutions Limited, over the demise of the renowned businessman and philanthropist at 63. The President notes that the late Okumbo, with investments across the petroleum, telecommunications, maritime and power sectors, contributed immensely to the development of the Nigerian economy, providing sustenance to many families in the process. He prays for the repose of the soul of the deceased, urging those left to mourn him, particularly the people of Edo State, to whom he devoted time and resources to sustain his legacies of well-spiritedness and large-heartedness. And that ends the news segment of the program. Don't forget to connect with us at the NTA. Do stand against rape and rapists. More stories with Jennifer. Stay with us.